Hey guys, this is Jamie. So basically today, I want to talk about a very general subject, which is how we portray love and how we see it in in the media. And this actually came to me because I was just looking at my YouTube page, and there's either one or a few videos discussing like love in the current context of society and etc. And it really made me wonder, why are people being so doomer about it? And it feels like it's not really sort of a new hot take, because I remember it used to irritate me back in the day when I just started dating my partner. And it felt like, obviously, when you're single yourself, I know this feels like eons ago for me, but when you're single yourself, you don't mind the whole culture that, oh, love isn't real and etc. And then you're kind of bombarded along the way with a lot of like assumptions that love isn't real. Like, I don't know, men are shit, women are shit, people cheat, love isn't real again. And it's it's quite like a sucking in culture with the negativity. And I did talk about this in a previous video, but I do feel like our current society right now is more into talking about how everything is bad, pessimistic, and doomer, even before like COVID and before like the Ukrainian war and stuff. Like, in general, we kind of have this pessimistic view of our lives, as if we're all just like gonna die alone and stuff like that. But yes, obviously most of us die alone, and who knows what's there after we die, and if there is anything after we die, actually. But at the same time, I really feel like everyone is very keen on being very negative about love. I understand that obviously once you come out of a breakup, you kind of want some time for yourself, you want to heal by yourself, and there's a lot of sort of reflection that you want to do by yourself, obviously. And even when it comes to me, because I've been in a relationship for nearly 12 years now, and even though I'm polyamorous, I I've been choosing to just have with my partner, and I've been hooking up on the side. Well, it's not on the side. My partner knows, the people know, and in general, I've never actually cheated on my partner. So I was always very open about it, and I never understood cheating culture in general. I was very upfront with it. And sure, I've had my ups and downs. I had to understand how to work with jealousy when I have jealousy, because I, like any other person, can have jealousy, how my partner deals with jealousy, what are our boundaries, what are my boundaries with hookups, what are my boundaries if I want to date anyone else as well. And, but this also got me thinking, like, is my desire, for instance, not to date other people as well, a sort of reflection of that culture? And the more I thought about it, the more I realized, no, it's actually really that I'm very sort of introverted. I and I've actually hated people to an extent, which is really weird to say because I'm a psychologist, but when it comes to keeping people close to me, I really enjoy having just a couple of people. I like knowing, like, this is my partner, this is someone who I hook up with, this is someone who I'll hook up once, and stuff like that. And I don't enjoy, I'm sort of like at the age where I don't enjoy building much more relationships, and I feel like I have enough of them in my life. So it was still an interesting sort of dynamic to say, yes, I'm criticizing love, but at the same time, I don't want more love. So I feel like I have to address that. And when it comes to polyamory, obviously there's a lot of people who feel like they don't know what it is, they don't know open relationships, they don't understand the dynamics. And usually the answer to that really is talk to the person who, first of all, talk to your partners, or your partner, talk to people who you know who are polyamorous and are comfortable explaining the dynamics, read a bit. But in general, I think it's better to find out through communication of people who actually experience it or who are polyamorous or who are in an open relationship for that matter. So, but at the same time, I feel like obviously I have some friends who are single, and the majority of my friends are factually single. And they're all very keen on posting stuff like, oh, men are trash, or like, I want to be single forever. And then it's like, well, or like, love isn't real. And then I'm like, well, I can't agree with you on that because I've been with my partner for 12 years. I really love my partner, and my partner loves me back. And sure, I am a product of like a divorced parents. But like, for instance, my stepmom and my dad love each other a lot, or like my in-laws love each other a lot, as in like the parents of my partner. So I do see love, and I see it obviously in sort of a bigger amount as I grow and as I see, because obviously when I was growing up, I was raised by my mom. My mom was quite cynical about love, and still is to an extent. Um, but I still feel like over the years it's gotten way more cynical and way more doomeristic. Like, and I feel like people blame the media, people blame everything besides blaming themselves for not wanting to be open to it, I think. But at the same time, I can understand, like, and this is actually a very interesting thing, which was actually told to me by an abuser of mine, which said that the best relationships, loved ones, start off when you're young because you grow together. And as much as I dislike that person, I really want to minimize them up to the point that it makes me sick. I found that a very interesting sort of observation. And this is again coming from a very, very conservative and very ignorant person who said that to me. But I still found that indeed very often, like, when you meet each other, I'm not dismissing that if you meet later in life it's a bad thing, but obviously when you grow up together, the more years you're together, the more you grow together, the more you understand each other, the more you put your walls down. Obviously a longer relationship can be most of the time more profound than a shorter relationship. Obviously we've had our relationships which take us and we have a summer fling and etc. And even I like was thinking the other past few months, I even reached out to like a few people who I thought were something more than a summer fling or whatever, and I tried to talk to them, and obviously, sure, we have that spark, but I realized that, and I talked about this to my partner, that I was reaching out to them, etc. And then like the conclusion came to me that like we try to find these flings, we go back to them, we talk to them, and obviously there are cases like where people reconnect, they find each other again, and etc. But I don't know, I guess I'm on this journey where I realize that even though I am polyamorous, I'm really not vibing with certain things, which is really interesting because I always thought that I'd have like ups and downs with a second relationship, that I'd always be on the hunt because I really enjoyed the thrill of like having more relationships. And right now I feel like I'm in this other stage of life where I just want to chill, and I'm the asshole who stands up and is like, okay, we finished our hookup, you came, I came, let's go back home, you know? I want to get back to my dog and my partner. Uh, so yeah, it's an interesting dynamic that I didn't expect myself to go into. But then you have like people who really limit themselves. Like I remember there was this guy who I wanted to hook up with, and I go to him, and he's like, and he then starts ranting about polyamory, how it doesn't work, how he doesn't understand it, and the guy is like a super single Pringle. And then he started bawling right in front of me in his kitchen that he couldn't believe that I was in a polyamorous relationship which was working for so many years. And I really felt bad for the guy, and I remember I stayed for hours trying to calm him down, and at the end of it, I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna do this. Sorry, some other time, and I left. But it's really interesting that people close themselves, and obviously, it's a discussion you should have with yourself about monogamy and polyamory. Whether it's something you want to pursue, something you don't want to pursue, something you're comfortable with. But at the same time, I feel like people really close themselves up, which goes back to my original topic, that people sort of, it's like going to a test. You're going to an exam. I'm saying this because I'm like in exam season right now. So you go to an exam, you think you're going to fail, and obviously because you think your performance is going to be bad, you might underperform. And the same, I think, happens in love these days. And in general, people also have this twisted perception. And for instance, when it comes to like gay men, I was really curious, and in general, I'm really curious how people idolize Heartstopper these days. And to me, it feels very childish. Like, yeah, sure, it's cute, like, but how many coming of age stories do we need written by another woman who will just project it onto the gays? And there's nothing wrong, obviously, with someone writing about gay men while they're not a gay guy, but it's just, it's been happening a bit too often these days, and obviously, male writers don't get the same sort of. Anyway, they don't get enough credit for doing it. Like, even when it comes to good books, I was thinking the other day, I actually read a very good book a few months ago. I actually have it on my shelf. It's called Memorial by Brian Washington. You can literally see it here. And when I was reading it, I was more interested in one side of the story rather than the other. And when I finished it, I was like, wait, that's it? And I realized that it's probably one of the best romance book I've read in a very long time. And another funny fact was that I actually got it signed by the author without realizing it. I ordered a copy on Amazon, and it came signed, and I was like, oh, okay. Because I never knew about the author other than the book, and it's a nice surprise because obviously I really enjoyed it, and I'm really happy to have that book, and I will keep it in my library, and it's fun to know that it's signed anyway. So yeah, I found that and it also like sort of touches on the topic of, does love exist, polyamory, monogamy, and in general it goes through gay dynamics. And when it comes to gay men, I find it very interesting that a lot of gay guys have been showing up on Reddit and saying stuff like, oh, where's my Heartstopper? We're so sexualized, and pretty much sexually demonizing for the sexuality and the sex aspect of the gay community. And I found that very sort of uncomfortable. Because obviously, sure, the gay community can be a bit more sex positive, but there's nothing wrong with the sex positivity that we hold. And this is also like a thing which even I hold, because I do not enjoy talking about my polyamory, and I haven't talked about it in a very long while on YouTube, like just to, talk about it. Because it's not something I just walk up to my parents and say, hey, I hooked up. Obviously, that's not something that I'm comfortable with, and I don't think anyone is, or maybe I'm being a prude, and maybe I'm being a prude about this. I have no idea. But my polyamory, because it's so focused on hookups, I just don't enjoy talking about it to other people because I feel like it's very personal. But at the same time, I want to raise awareness for talking in this video about and being more transparent, because sometimes it's easier to be transparent in front of a camera than it is to someone else. And in this case, it's obviously easier for me to talk to a bunch of strangers on YouTube, or to talk to my friends rather than someone who I don't want to talk about my sex life. So yeah. So all of this sort of bashing and idolization of Heartstopper that is not sexual really made me realize that we have the doomers, we have the who think that love isn't real and who just demonize sexuality and sort of like sex positivity and emphasizing the Heartstopper. And then we have the super doomers, which think that everything is bad, sex is bad, love is bad. And I don't mean it in an asexuals or bad way. Obviously, I'm talking about people who are sexually active, are not asexual or aromantic, and who really thrash this. So yeah, I guess I just wanted to talk about my perspective, I guess, on these things. And yeah, this video ended up longer and it trailed a bit more, where I was thinking it will a bit different than I thought it would. But regardless, thank you very much for watching. I hope to enjoy this ramble. If you did, please click subscribe. It helps me more than you. Click like if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment if you wish so. Probably subscribe, yeah. And watch some more videos for me to get monetized someday. Thank you very much.